high upon the sheer cliffs of the Bandiagara Plateau. Cradled by the sunburnt rocks and endless skies of Mali, lives a people whose stories stretch beyond the confines of Earth. They are the Dogon, guardians of a sacred knowledge that transcends their isolated villages. Speaking of things so ancient, so vast, that modern science only recently caught up. For centuries, their traditions have passed from mouth to ear, from elder to initiate, whispering secrets of the stars, planets, and cosmic beings that, even today, stir awe and disbelief among scholars and dreamers alike. How could a people without telescopes, without satellites, know of Sirius B, a white dwarf star invisible to the naked eye? How could they describe its orbit around Sirius A with astonishing accuracy, and even hint at the existence of a third star, Sirius C, long before the technology existed to observe it? Were these visions the product of ritualistic imagination, or were they memories of something far older, perhaps far stranger than we dare admit? These are the riddles carved into the very identity of the Dogon, preserved in their dances, their carvings, their songs, and their sacred ceremonies. Central to their belief system are the Nommo, amphibious ancestral spirits said to have descended from the heavens at the dawn of time. Neither gods in the distant, detached sense, nor mere spirits of the land. The Nommo are described as teachers, bringers of order, and architects of existence. They arrived in a vessel that landed with a tremendous roar and upheaval, restoring cosmic harmony to a fractured universe. They taught the Dogon about agriculture, the movement of celestial bodies, and the intricate balance between earth, water, and sky. The Nommo are not only revered, they are considered the origin point of Dogon identity itself. As we journey deeper into this extraordinary mythology, we will explore the ways in which the Dogon view the universe, not simply as a physical reality, but as a living, breathing tapestry woven from cosmic threads. We will follow the stories of the Nommo, uncover the serious mysteries that defy easy explanation, and ask the questions that echo in every human heart. How much did the ancients truly know? And what secrets still lie hidden, waiting to be remembered beneath the endless, whispering stars? The Dogon people trace their ancestry across the vast stretches of West Africa, their origins shrouded in the mists of time and myth. According to oral tradition, they fled centuries ago from regions near the Nile, possibly from ancient Egypt or Nubia, escaping waves of conquest and religious transformation that sought to erase older ways of knowing. After long migrations, they found refuge among the craggy heights of the Bandiagara escarpment, a labyrinth of cliffs and caves carved by wind and time. Here, surrounded by the watchful eyes of sandstone gods, they built their villages, their granaries, and, most importantly, their sanctuary, a living library of knowledge too sacred to be forgotten. The cliffs offered more than protection from enemies. They became the very framework for Dogon culture, isolating them from external influences and allowing their ancient systems to survive the battering winds of history. In these hidden enclaves, the Dogon preserved their traditions not through books or temples, but through memory, art, and the spoken word. Every ritual, every dance, every story was a thread in a much larger tapestry, a cosmology so intricate and detailed that it astounds even seasoned anthropologists today. Their society became a guardian of wisdom, a living bridge between the visible world and the hidden architecture of the cosmos. Oral tradition is the heartbeat of Dogon life. Knowledge is not written down but transmitted through layers of symbolism, encoded in masks, rhythms, agricultural rituals and star lore whispered from elder to initiate. Their myths are vast and multi-layered, requiring years of study to even scratch the surface. Certain knowledge is reserved for the initiated, guarded within tightly controlled secret societies that function like schools of mystery. This is not a casual storytelling tradition. It is a structured, sacred system of information where the casual and the profound intertwine, and where truth must be earned through dedication and transformation. The preservation of this sacred knowledge hinges on the rigorous initiation rites that mark a Dogon's passage from childhood into adulthood. These rites are more than mere ceremonies. They are profound educational journeys, woven with symbolism, trials, and revelations. Boys, and sometimes girls, undergo periods of seclusion where they are taught the sacred stories of the tribe, the structures of the universe, the origins of life, and the meanings of the stars. Knowledge is divided into levels, with each stage of initiation unlocking deeper layers of understanding. It is said that the full cosmology is never revealed to outsiders, and only a handful of elders possess the complete, unbroken lineage of Dogon star knowledge. Masks and dances are central to the transmission of wisdom. Each mask represents a different force or being in the Dogon cosmic order, from ancestors and elemental spirits to celestial phenomena. During masked ceremonies, the performers move in precise patterns that mirror cosmic movements. The orbit of stars, the spiral of galaxies, the balance between chaos and order. To the untrained eye, the performances seem merely festive, but to the initiated, they are a living reenactment of the universe's birth and constant unfolding. The Dogon view their responsibility as not merely cultural, but cosmic. They believe it is their duty to safeguard the knowledge entrusted to them by the Nommo, to preserve the delicate balance between seen and unseen worlds. To lose their traditions would be to disrupt the cosmic order itself. This fierce dedication to memory, ritual, and secrecy has allowed the Dogon to carry forward a vision of the universe that predates modern astronomy, yet describes it with uncanny precision. Their survival in the face of time, conquest, and change stands as one of the most extraordinary feats of cultural resilience in human history. At the center of Dogon cosmology lies a story as ancient and vast as the night sky itself. The tale of Amma, the supreme sky god, and the creation of the universe through the sacred beings known as the Nommo. In the beginning, there was Amma, an invisible force whose being encompassed everything and nothing. From his infinite solitude, Amma began the act of creation, weaving matter, time, and spirit into existence. But creation was not smooth. According to Dogon mythology, the first attempt was flawed, incomplete, marred by imbalance. A portion of the primordial material rebelled, and disorder seeped into the fabric of reality. To correct this, Amma gave birth to the Nommo, celestial beings described as amphibious, simultaneously inhabiting realms of water and sky, matter and spirit. The Nommo were not simple deities or spirits in the Western sense. They were multidimensional entities who embodied the principles of life, order, and cosmic law. They descended from the heavens in a vessel that shone like a new sun, landing upon the earth with a deafening roar and a great swirling of wind and water. This descent marked the rebalancing of creation, the restoration of the proper order, and the beginning of the Dogon's sacred duty to remember and enact cosmic harmony. The Nommo are often depicted as amphibious beings, creatures who lived in the water but could move between different elements and planes of existence. Their dual nature symbolized balance between earth and sky, between body and spirit, between chaos and order. They were often associated with water, the primordial element from which all life flows. Water to the Dogon is more than a necessity. It is the physical expression of cosmic potential, the connective tissue of the universe, and the medium through which divine wisdom flows. In every ritual, in every myth, the presence of water echoes the life-giving legacy of the Nommo. The Nommo were also characterized by their multiplicity. Dogon myths speak of the Nommo as a unity that fragmented into 4 pairs of twins, each representing a different aspect of cosmic reality. This emphasis on twins is vital to understanding Dogon spirituality. Twins embody the principle of duality and balance, male and female, light and dark, physical and spiritual. In their cosmology, nothing is whole without its counterpart. Every force has an equal, every action a reaction, every being a mirror. Twins and the interplay between them form the fundamental rhythm of existence, a dance between opposing but interdependent energies. Yet, even among the Nommo, not all was pure. One of the twins, a rebellious figure, defied the order established by Amma. In response to this transgression, the Nommo were sacrificed and dismembered, only to be resurrected and restored. A mythic cycle that mirrors the rhythms of death and rebirth found throughout world mythology. Their restoration re-established cosmic order, their sacrifice ensuring that creation could proceed according to divine will. In Dogon thought, destruction and renewal are not opposites but necessary stages in the eternal unfolding of the universe. The arrival of the Nommo was not simply a mythological event. It marked the foundation of Dogon culture itself. The Nommo brought sacred knowledge of farming, weaving, metalworking, star lore, and spiritual balance. They taught humanity how to live in harmony with the rhythms of the cosmos, how to build societies that reflected the balance found among the stars. Every Dogon ceremony, every architectural layout, every mask and ritual dance is a reenactment of the Nommo's descent, a renewal of the covenant between humanity and the cosmic forces that birthed it. In their sacred art, the Dogon often depict the Nommo with elongated bodies, serpentine forms, and stylized features that seem to blur the line between human and aquatic creature. Some carvings show them entwined in spirals or descending with arms outstretched, mirroring the spiraling descent described in their myths. These images are not mere decoration. They are keys to understanding the deeper spiritual architecture of Dogon thought, where form and meaning are inseparable, where every gesture recalls a primordial act of creation. The symbolism of water and twins extends into daily life as well. Water is honored in rituals marking birth, death, and initiation. Twins are celebrated as bearers of good fortune and cosmic blessing, viewed not as anomalies but as visible signs of divine favor. Every layer of Dogon society, from agriculture to social organization to theology, reflects the lessons taught by the Nommo, that balance is not static but dynamic, that life is the continuous negotiation between forces, and that harmony must be tended as carefully as a river's flow. The legend of the Nommo is not merely a creation myth, it is a philosophy, a map of the soul, and a guide to living within the cosmic order. In a world increasingly divorced from its sacred roots, the Dogon offer a vision that is both ancient and startlingly modern, that the universe is alive, intelligent, and interconnected, and that humanity's highest purpose is not dominion, but participation in this sacred dance. The Nommo live on, not in the skies above, but in the stories, ceremonies, and wisdom of a people who still remember their whispering from the stars. Among all the mysteries surrounding the Dogon, none have captured the imagination of the modern world as profoundly as their detailed knowledge of the Sirius star system, a knowledge so precise so seemingly impossible without telescopes that it challenges conventional understandings of ancient astronomy. The Dogon do not simply recognize Sirius A, the brightest star visible in our night sky. They speak of Sirius B, an invisible companion star so small and dense that it defies naked eye observation, and of a possible third companion, Sirius C. Their oral traditions describe not only the existence of these hidden stars, but their characteristics and behavior with uncanny precision. The Dogon say that Sirius B, which they call Po-Tolo, is incredibly heavy and small, a description that matches the modern astrophysical understanding of a white dwarf. They recount that Po-Tolo revolves around Sirius A in a period of about 50 years, an orbital period strikingly close to the 50.1-year cycle calculated by modern astronomers. The Dogon even describe the motion of Sirius B around Sirius A not as a simple circle but as a spiral trajectory, a subtle and sophisticated understanding of orbital mechanics that would seem to be far beyond the observational capabilities of a traditional tribal society. Their myths elaborate further. They claim that Po-Tolo is composed of a material heavier than all earthly substances, that it is invisible to the human eye, and that it is the oldest thing in the universe. These statements align eerily with the scientific reality that white dwarfs are composed of degenerate matter, so dense that a teaspoonful would weigh tons, and that they represent one of the final evolutionary stages of a star. The Dogon also speak of a third star in the Sirius system called Emma, said to be larger and lighter than Po-Tolo, but still companion to Sirius A. For decades, Emma remained a mystery, but recent observations suggest the possibility that a third body may indeed exist in the Sirius system, though definitive proof remains elusive. How could the Dogon possess such advanced astronomical knowledge? This question ignited a firestorm of debate in the 20th century, beginning with the research of Marcel Griaule and Germain Dieterlen, two French anthropologists who lived among the Dogon between the 1930s and 1950s. Over years of careful and respectful immersion, Griaule and Dieterlen recorded the Dogon's complex cosmological teachings, culminating in their monumental work, The Pale Fox, published in 1965. They documented not only the Dogon's knowledge of Sirius, but a vast web of interlocking myths, rituals, and symbols that described atomic structure, embryological development, and cosmic motion in terms that paralleled modern science. Griaule was astounded. According to his reports, the Dogon had, without any access to Western science, preserved a body of astronomical and cosmological knowledge that seemed impossible to explain through ordinary cultural diffusion. His findings led to broader popularization of the Sirius mystery, and speculation began to swirl. Some suggested that ancient contact with extraterrestrial visitors could explain the transmission of this knowledge, that the Nommo descending from the sky in myth were not symbolic beings but actual entities from the Sirius system who once interacted with early humanity. This theory was most famously explored in the 1976 book The Sirius Mystery by Robert K.G. Temple, who argued that the Dogon's knowledge could only have come from intelligent beings visiting Earth in the distant past. Temple's work sparked fascination but also controversy, fueling ancient astronaut theories that still captivate a significant segment of the public imagination. To those who believe, the Dogon offer the clearest evidence that humanity's past may be intertwined with cosmic visitors, and that our ancestors were not merely gazing at the stars, but perhaps remembering. However, not everyone accepted these extraordinary claims without scrutiny. Anthropological skepticism grew over time. Critics pointed out that Griaule's methodology might have unintentionally influenced the Dogon's responses, introducing modern astronomical concepts during interviews. Some suggested that contact with European travelers or traders before Grial's arrival might have seeded the Dogon myths, with fragments of Western knowledge about Sirius. Others argued that the human mind, capable of intricate observation and symbolic imagination, could develop sophisticated cosmological models without needing modern technology or extraterrestrial help. Walter van Beek, an anthropologist who conducted fieldwork among the Dogon in the late 20th century, reported that contemporary Dogon knowledge of Sirius was inconsistent and far less detailed than Grial's findings suggested. According to Van Beek, many Dogon seemed unaware of the complex cosmological teachings described in earlier studies, leading to the possibility that the Sirius knowledge had been preserved only among a small elite group, or that it had evolved under external influence. Yet, despite these challenges, the Dogon's astronomical lore remains profoundly unique. Even if external contamination played a role, the depth, symbolism, and integration of Sirius into their cosmological system suggest an indigenous tradition of star-watching and myth-making that rivals anything found elsewhere in the ancient world. Their understanding of Sirius is not presented in isolation, but woven into a living mythos, a grand narrative of creation, life, death, and rebirth that touches every aspect of existence. Whether viewed as evidence of lost ancient science, the survival of pre-modern astronomical observation, or something even stranger, the Dogon's Sirius knowledge invites us to reconsider the capabilities of ancient peoples. It challenges the modern arrogance that assumes technological advancement is the sole measure of wisdom. Perhaps the Dogon did not need telescopes to see the true nature of the cosmos. Perhaps through ritual, meditation, and ancestral memory, they accessed layers of reality that science is only now beginning to glimpse. The Sirius mystery remains unresolved. It stands at the crossroads of anthropology, astronomy, mythology, and speculation, a shimmering reminder that the past is not as simple nor as distant as we sometimes pretend. In the Dogon's whispered stories of Potolo and Emeya, the spiral dance of the stars, and the descent of the Nommo, we glimpse a truth deeper than fact, a truth that the universe is alive, communicating, and that once, perhaps long ago, we knew how to listen. For the Dogon, the universe is not a random scattering of stars and planets. It is a carefully woven tapestry, ordered and alive, built on principles so profound that even modern cosmology seems at times to echo their ancient truths. In Dogon cosmology, the universe is structured according to a sacred design, a model of order emerging from original chaos, with every particle, every star, every being participating in a dance of cosmic vibrations. It is a vision where science, spirituality, and myth are not separate disciplines but interconnected facets of the same ultimate reality. At the center of this universe stands Potolo, the star we know as Sirius B. In Dogon belief, Potolo is far more than a celestial object. It is the cosmic seed from which all matter, time, and life sprouted. It is the first thing created by Amma, the sky god, and it serves as the axis of existence, the pivot point around which the entire structure of the universe unfolds. According to the Dogon, Potolo contains the densest, heaviest substance in the universe, a concept astonishingly aligned with the modern understanding of white dwarf stars, which are composed of matter so compressed that a spoonful would outweigh a mountain. To the Dogon, Potolo is not merely a star, but the heart of creation, the silent pulse from which all vibrations originate. The Dogon describe the universe as expanding outward from Potolo in a series of energetic waves or spirals, much like ripples expanding from a single drop into an endless sea. They envision space not as empty but as filled with Nommo, a vital force, a cosmic breath that animates all things. Nommo is movement, vibration, life, the sacred energy that courses through everything from the tiniest grain of sand to the brightest star. This understanding bears an uncanny resemblance to quantum field theory's concept of an energy-filled vacuum, though expressed through mythic language. Integral to this vision is sacred geometry, the blueprint through which Amma organized chaos into structure. The Dogon explain that the universe is shaped according to basic geometric forms, the circle, the spiral, the square, and that these forms are reflected in the heavens, the earth, and the human body itself. In their sacred art, cosmograms and masks, these shapes appear again and again, not as mere decorations, but as literal maps of the universe's construction. A Dogon granary, for instance, is not simply a building to store food. It is a microcosm of the cosmos, its compartments mirroring the organization of stars and seasons. Cosmic vibration is another key concept in Dogon cosmology. According to their teachings, all of existence is produced and maintained by rhythmic movements and sounds. The Nommo, after descending to earth, are said to have spoken the world into greater order, their voices creating waves that shaped matter itself. This idea that sound or vibration is foundational to creation resonates with modern theories suggesting that the universe's fundamental building blocks are not particles but vibrating strings of energy. Once again, Dogon myth speaks in the symbolic language of what science is only beginning to theorize. The Dogon cosmology also details the emergence of time and space through complex metaphors. They describe how Amma, after the initial act of creation, organized the universe into a hierarchy of worlds, with each level representing a different stage of spiritual and material development. Potolo, with its immense gravitational presence, sits at the junction of these worlds, acting as both anchor and guide. Through its invisible yet omnipresent force, the order of seasons, lifespans, and cosmic ages is maintained. Time, in this view, is not a straight line, but a spiral, a dynamic unfolding that mirrors the movement of celestial bodies and the rhythms of life on Earth. Moreover, human beings are seen as microcosms of the universe, each person a reflection of cosmic order in miniature. The human body, according to Dogon teachings, is structured according to the same principles that govern the stars. The spiral of DNA echoes the spiral of galaxies. The beating of the heart mirrors the pulse of Potolo. Life itself is understood as participation in cosmic balance, a delicate alignment of inner and outer worlds. Illness, misfortune, and social discord are not random miseries but symptoms of imbalance, disruptions of the sacred patterns encoded at the beginning of time. This sacred science is not reserved for priests or scholars alone. It permeates every aspect of Dogon life. Farming practices align with cosmic cycles. Architectural layouts reflect astronomical principles. Ritual dances retrace the paths of planets and stars across the sky. Even daily greetings and prayers reaffirm the individual's place within the universal order. To live as a Dogon is to live consciously within the great breathing organism of the universe, to walk paths that mirror the stars above, and to honor the ancient agreements woven into the fabric of reality. Dogon cosmology offers a vision of existence that is both humbling and exhilarating. It suggests that we are not separate from the stars, not accidents in a blind universe, but participants in a grand, ongoing act of creation. Every breath, every heartbeat, every footstep across the red dust of Mali is a reaffirmation of connection to something infinitely larger than ourselves. In the world of the Dogon, the universe is not a cold expanse, but a living, singing being, one that invites us to remember our place within it, to move in harmony with its rhythms, and to hear again the ancient music of creation that still resonates among the stars. No story as extraordinary as that of the Dogon could escape controversy, as the claims about their astronomical knowledge, particularly regarding the Sirius system, gained global attention. So too did waves of skepticism. Critics argued that what appeared to be indigenous wisdom might instead be the result of cultural contamination, knowledge introduced by European explorers, missionaries, or colonial administrators and then woven into Dogon mythology over time. Skeptics pointed out that by the time anthropologists like Marcel Griol and Germaine Dieterlen conducted their fieldwork, the Dogon had already been in contact with outsiders for decades. Could it be, they asked, that fragments of Western astronomy, perhaps casually mentioned by travelers or scholars, had been incorporated into the oral traditions and mistakenly taken as ancient truth? Others defended the Dogon, asserting that their cosmology bore such depth, complexity, and internal consistency that it could not have been haphazardly patched together from foreign tidbits. They emphasized that the Dogon knowledge extended far beyond Sirius, encompassing sophisticated models of atomic structure, embryology, and vibrational fields, areas unlikely to have been casually discussed with tribal peoples. Furthermore, the Dogon preserved this knowledge not as disjointed facts, but as part of an intricate sacred system, encoded in ritual, art, and language, suggesting origins rooted deep within their own cultural memory, rather than superficial modern influence. Complicating the picture is the devastating impact of colonialism, which disrupted and often attempted to erase indigenous knowledge systems across Africa. Oral traditions, inherently vulnerable to erosion, had to withstand the pressures of imposed religions, educational systems, and economic upheaval. That the Dogon cosmology survived at all, intact enough to astound 20th century researchers, is itself a remarkable testament to their resilience. Their secret societies, initiation rituals, and strict control over sacred knowledge became essential bulwarks against the tides of change, preserving echoes of a worldview that might otherwise have been lost to history. Yet, the Dogon story continues to fascinate scientists, mystics, and historians alike, because it sits at the intersection of myth and science, challenging the boundaries of what we think we know about the past. For some, it suggests that ancient peoples possessed avenues of understanding, spiritual, observational, or otherwise, that modern civilization has forgotten. For others, it raises humbling questions about the arrogance of contemporary knowledge. In the dance between skepticism and wonder, the Dogon remain a mystery, one that invites us not merely to judge, but to listen, carefully and with reverence. The story of the Dogon is not merely a curiosity, a historical footnote, or an anthropological anomaly. It is a profound reminder of something far deeper, that human beings have always gazed into the sky and seen not just points of light, but meaning, pattern, and relationship. In the myths of the Dogon, we find a vision of the universe where science and spirit are not at odds, but are parts of the same sacred understanding. Their knowledge of Sirius and the structure of the cosmos is awe-inspiring, but it is not merely data or technical skill. It is part of a living philosophy, a spiritual science that teaches that all things are connected, that balance is the root of existence, and that life itself is an expression of cosmic order. Dogon mythology reveals that wisdom is not only found in books, laboratories, or observatories, It is woven into the very fabric of ritual, story, and community memory. The Nommo did not simply teach the Dogon about stars. They taught them how to live in harmony with the universe. Every spiral in their dance, every grain laid carefully in their granaries, every story whispered beneath the African sky speaks of a sacred relationship between human beings and the cosmos they inhabit. In their traditions, there is no sharp line between the earthly and the divine, no rigid separation between knowledge and reverence. For the Dogon, to know the stars is to honor them, to live in rhythm with their timeless dance. As we move forward in a world of accelerating change, technological noise, and ecological crisis, the story of the Dogon calls us back to an ancient truth: that wisdom is as much about listening as it is about knowing. It urges us to respect indigenous knowledge systems not as relics of a primitive past, but as vital sources of insight and connection. These traditions hold keys to understanding not just the cosmos, but our place within it, and perhaps they hold answers to questions we have forgotten how to ask. Let the mysteries of the Dogon inspire us to remain humble, to stay curious, and to seek the sacred threads that bind us all. Across continents, across centuries, across the immeasurable depths of space and time. The dance between earth and sky is timeless, and somewhere high on the Bandiagara cliffs, it is still being performed.